Hi, I'm Scott with Start That Business Television. Today we're in line at the Apple Store here in Santa Monica. We're in the preferred line where you make reservations to get an appointment. What's the difference between this line and the other people's line?
For this line, you made a reservation to get your phone, so you're guaranteed to get the phone. It was very hard actually to make a reservation. The lines were tied up and there were problems with the website, so we feel really proud of ourselves. Sometimes it took a couple hours just to make the reservation. What is Start That Business? Yeah.
So Start That Business is a business where we help entrepreneurs 0 to 3 years, 10 employees or less, to start and successfully manage sustainable and scalable businesses that are capable of surviving past the 3-year in operation mark, which financial institutions across the country have deemed you don't exist until you get to 3 years in 1 day, and we will not lend you money until then. So we're trying to help everyone that's less than 3 years make it to be successful past that 3-year in 1 day mark through various tools, one of which is Start That Business Television, which is why we're here today interviewing current and future entrepreneurs and some of their experiences. So considering that light, tell us about yourself and your business.
Well, one thing I'm concerned about is the line. I don't want to...
As we move in the line, tell us about your current business as an entrepreneur.
My business is basically producing plays for theater. And I'm excited to do a web series because I love doing theater. I don't really feel like that can be profitable. It's more of something I love doing, and I want to just be able to keep doing it. But I would also like to expand my business to be more income producing to sustain the theater.
How long have you been in business with this business?
With this business, I'd say it's my 2nd year.
Is this your first business that you've ever started personally?
Yes, I always worked for other people and really dreamed of having my own business, and I kind of thought that was such a big deal. I was kind of intimidated by doing it, and now that I've done it and started, I realized it's not really such a big deal to get started.
What was the final decision-making piece of information, the straw that broke the camel's back? What was the final instance that made you start this current business of yours?
I think I took a class at UCLA Extension that was about starting and running your own production company. And I think it was when I found out just the concrete steps that I could take to do it. Like, you just file your DBA, there are just certain papers and certain steps that you can take, fairly simple, and then your business is created.
So would you say that there are a lot of educational challenges for new entrepreneurs as to learn what's necessary to even start their business?
Yes, I think if it goes from just being a big dream to being like, here are steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do this, you do that, you do that, and then you're a business. Now, of course, there's a lot more beyond that, but to break it down into steps, I think, is important. What's the
biggest challenge you've faced as a startup entrepreneur?
I think raising money. What I've done is sometimes I form partnerships to I wanted to produce a play. I couldn't raise all the money myself, so I found a theater that wanted to co-produce with me. So it was co-production between my company and a more established, larger company.
How often in these scenarios would you use bartering as a form of getting your goals accomplished for this business?
Oh, very much so. That's interesting that you say that, because I just came upon that myself, because the first play I produced with my business, what I said was, with this larger, more established company, I said, well, I will do some fundraising and marketing for you in exchange for you helping me produce this play. I offered my services because I didn't have, a lot of money, or I thought, well, what do I have to offer as well as my expertise and my knowledge? So I helped them in something that they were weak in. It was getting corporate sponsorships. I said, I will help do a proposal and send out corporate sponsorships for your company if you co-produce this play with me.
Based on the challenges that you've experienced to date and that you continue to experience, what advice would you give a brand new entrepreneur starting a new startup business?
I think maybe it would be, if you have some other source of income or a regular job, kind of keep that for a while, and you can start doing things to lay the groundwork for your business, like maybe even forming relationships or doing some of the preliminary steps first while you still have a job, And so you get something going before you completely make the switch to your own business.
They say that to be an entrepreneur is to be a risk taker. How big of a risk taker are you?
Actually, I'm not that big of a risk taker, which is why it took me so long to get going on this. And I'm starting very slowly, so it's not like I borrowed huge amounts of money, to do this. I'm just doing it in little increments. So I know you're supposed to be a big risk taker as an entrepreneur, but I'm more of a cautious entrepreneur.
Well put. I like that term. You just coined that term, a cautious entrepreneur, if that is such a thing, standing right next to me. What would you say to the person in corporate America right now that is stuck in a quote-unquote dead-end job that hates their job? What would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
You don't have to live like that. I mean, your life is too precious to waste being miserable for years. There's so many opportunities out there, and you do have to take a risk. And just looking out, they say, well, what do you love to do? What do people need? What does society need? But it might be scary, but if you take a risk to change, you could be so much happier for so many years. It's definitely worth taking a risk on that.
Well, that's great advice. So, do you love what you do right now?
I love what I do. Yes. That's why I'm doing. I really took some time, actually. Like I did the Artist Way program and exploring with writing and things like getting in touch with what do I really want to do. I went through a transitional time in my life, but I found what I really connected with. I thought about what I loved as a child, like when I was a kid. What did I like to put on shows in my backyard with my friends and my
Awesome.
family. Yes.
Can I attend one?
One of the ones in my backyard?
Yeah, sure.
It used to be a combination of theater and circus because we would perform on the swing set and then do a play. So I thought, that's what I love doing. Is I'm doing the adult version of that now.
So what should our audience know about all the awesome things that you're offering with your business?
Well, I can't tell you in advance. I do have a website. It's very rudimentary, storyproductions.com, story with an EY. And I list my upcoming events. Actually, I'm very excited. A play that I produced last year at LA Theater Center called War Stories is now going to have 2 performances in New York. And I'm going to go and do that at St. Mark's Church. It'll be in November. So I don't know, are you nationwide or?
Of course we are.
Yes.
This is an entrepreneur startup in America. Of course it's nationwide.
November 13th and 20th, St. Mark's Church in New York. I'll be producing 2 performances of War Stories.
Why are you here today?
Oh, get the iPhone, of course.
Let's get back to why we're actually here today.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, I've wanted to have an iPhone for a long time. And when it first came out, I actually even purchased it here, and then I put it back because I didn't mind buying it, but it was the monthly charge, and I actually thought with my business, I had no income then. I thought, well, I don't want to have any expenses I don't really need, so I didn't want to have the monthly charge. Then I've started to have a little income now, so a few months ago I wanted to buy one, and then I heard the 4 was coming out, so I thought, I'll wait. So I really have pent-up demand. I've been wanting to have this for a long time.
Gotcha. So how do you plan to use the new iPhone 4 with your business?
Well, for me it's important because I produce at different theaters. So a lot of times I'll be, let's say on location at the theater. So I have my desktop at home, but until now, I would always have to check my email, before I leave or when I got back. And I'm finding that more people have these, and so it'll be better for me to be able to communicate when I'm around town.
Do you consider yourself a mobile entrepreneur?
I guess I would say partly mobile. I mean, I do have my home office, so that's definitely my base of operations. But many times I'm in different places because I produce it at different theaters. So I would say I'm mobile about half the time.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time today. Any additional thoughts, comments, advice you'd like to share with us and our audience?
I think breaking it down into steps that we talked about and just finding that passion of what you really want to do is, I would say those are the 2 keys, and then just get going.